Welcome to day 174 of the 300 Movie Challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of November 2008, which was Madagascar Escape to Africa. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. So, again, as we said last time, we've all seen the first one, but only I was the one who has seen both this one and the third one. So that's it. I did see this a while ago, so I haven't seen it super recently. Probably at least like 3-4 years ago I probably saw it. So not like a long time, but yeah. So, let you guys go first.
Okay. I mean, after High School Musical, this was nice to just watch a movie that was actually, not suck.
Yeah.
It was pretty mindless, I guess. Like, you don't need to think too much for this movie.
Yeah, you
everything.
just, like,
And
you sit back
the
and
humor isn't too dated either.
Yeah.
No, actually, there's a lot of good like dialogue that is something
Yeah.
like a kid wouldn't notice. Like the whole like conversation about like the union stuff with the chimps. And the penguins like these commies. Just like, oh my god.
I love the penguins. Oh, actually, speaking of the penguins, there was a very brief period where they had like a TV show about the penguins.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
I watched.
remember that.
I watched some episodes of that. Of course I did, because, I'm obsessed with penguins. But I remember watching a couple of episodes and I was like, where are the other characters besides like Julian and Maurice and the little annoying one?
I don't know where the show falls in the timeline, so I can't say.
I watched the Penguins of Madagascar movie.
Oh, I didn't know they had a... Oh yeah, no, they had a movie that... Yeah, for some reason I guess it's because, like, the first one I watched it on TV, like, on cable, when it eventually cycled through all of the, TV show channels that I used to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of dialogue. It was like, there's that. There's where like King Julian like talking about like regime change in foreign governments or whatever, and it's like, oh, America, trying to overthrow the democratically elected leaders in the name of freedom.
As always.
So,
As always.
it's just like it's small stuff like that that I think sets it apart. Because like even again, like the plot's pretty damn simple.
Yeah.
But that stuff, like, because I've heard people talk about, like, the penguins are, like, annoying, they're like minions, and it's like, well, no. First of all, they actually talk, and, again, the dialogue...
They have personality.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
personalities that are individual.
You can tell the difference between all of them.
Yeah, and again, the dialogue is, like, actually well-written, so, it's not just noises and them saying, like, laughing and, like, saying butt or something,
It's also, like, I guess, even though the plot is simple and everything, the dialogue weaves very well with it regardless and stuff. It's not like pointless humor that has nothing to do with the plot. It's just thrown in there to be funny. Like, even though there is like the whole union thing, it makes sense still with the plot because they're trying to build the airplane and everything still. So, it's not like pointless humor where it's just there just for laughs or something and has nothing to do with the plot. It's like actually weaving itself with the plot and everything.
And the whole thing with the monkeys also is because, like, they're like, we don't have opposable thumbs, we can't fix anything. And then, what is it, private? I don't remember exactly. He's like, curse you, Darwin, or something, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, curse you, Darwin.
It's just stuff like that, again, it's like really fast, and, yeah, like, as a kid, you probably wouldn't even notice it, but it's like, it's
Yeah, when you listen
never.
to some of the lines, you're just like, oh, that's actually pretty well written.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the first one that much, in terms of, like, how much you like it?
I don't remember it.
I only remember that my, like, favorite part where I just, like, completely lost it was when the help sign fell down.
That's the one thing I remember too.
And you get hell, and I was, like, whenever I see it, like, even as, like, a separate clip, I can't handle it. It's just so funny, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
I don't even remember how the tanker got stuck on the island or anything either.
I don't remember either. I assume the penguins did something, but I don't remember what it was.
In doubt, the penguins did something weird.
Yeah.
But, oh, man. I think for me, because I've said this before, that this is the one I like the least, but I still like it overall. And I think there's two main reasons. One is that the plot is very basic, right? And for the other ones, the plots were pretty basic too, but it was a bit more character focused, where this is kind of like, it does have character stuff, but it's very much like, this happens with this guy, this happens with this guy, this happens with this guy, right? It's not so much as like them all together, right? So there's that. And then the other thing is that like the villain is just lame.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of built up like he's supposed to be lame, but like he's still lame, right? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
he's not like terrible, and I almost kind of like how like everyone kind of immediately turns on him and like, no, you suck as a leader, right? But again, it's like, well, he's not intimidating, he's not funny, he's not memorable, so what's the point, right? So
drama.
Yeah. So, and again, the whole like misunderstanding of like, you know, I thought, you know, you were gonna fight. I thought it was a dance. It's like that should have been conveyed. You know what I mean? Like there shouldn't.
Wouldn't that be super obvious to convey?
So there's that, and again, there's some other stuff that's just like, okay, but so I think that's why ultimately I do like the others more. But again, I still like it mostly. I think because of the dialogue and just some funny stuff in it. I always forget that they bring the old woman back.
The part with the humans was really funny, actually.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was a bit more of that, but I don't know.
Another funny thing that I found is on the airplane when Melvin would be talking, he would be sitting a few rows back, but his head was positioned over a skeleton that was missing a head.
Oh. I didn't notice that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I noticed that, and I was like, that was really clever, Darky.
Yeah, that's a good sight gag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like how, well, okay, I don't like this, but, well, okay, for now. The whole thing with, like, Melvin and Gloria getting together, like, it seems kind of out of nowhere. I will say they continue with it in the third one, and it works better there. So even though it's like, why are they together? When they're actually together, it's like they actually work pretty well. So
yeah, I don't know. I did kind of just the way that he like kind of confessed his love. I did like get invested in at least his side of the relationship.
Yeah, it's like you feel that it's there, but at the same time, it does seem to kind of come out of nowhere, even though the actual happening of it is fine. But yeah, they work more with that and stuff. So it. Yeah.
Was there any implication of it in the first one? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I have no recollection.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there isn't, so I think that's the main reason why it's like, another actually really small thing that I like. So at the end of the movie, of course, like Alex is like saying to Marty about like, you know, how he knows that that's the real Marty and stuff, right? And you could catch that like he actually checks because he like looks at like Marty's like butt and is like, wait, is there a scar? Okay, there is, right? So he checks that, but then I'm like, wait a minute. In the scene earlier where he called out Marty in the herd, the reason he saw who he was is because Marty was turning around, and so his butt was facing Alex, so he would have seen the scar.
Oh.
I'm like, oh. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that makes total sense. So it's not some like, you know, friendship lets us overcome. It was actually like, oh no, he just saw the scar. Like, you know.
But he bit him on the butt.
Yeah.
Last time.
So that's actually, I was like, oh, that's actually kind of clever. I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know if it was intentional or not. But yeah, and then there's a couple small things like that. I feel like there was something else with Melman. That I was gonna say, but
the witch doctor, or when he was the volcano,
or
in the hole,
dying. We go into a hole and die.
Yeah, there's a lot of like just like really dark humor in this, which is just kind of like it's so unexpected because you think, oh yay, fun animal story, and it's like we crawl in a hole and die, and it's like okay,
sponges though.
There's that. There's I do like, again, there are a couple different like morals that are, again, they're fairly simple, but it's good that they're there. Like the whole excuse me, like the whole thing with I forgot his name, the male hippo, how he just likes her for like, you know, how she looks and not, you know, for like everything else or whatever, like with Melman. So that's kind of like a good thing with there. And, you know, also like recognizing, like with Alex and Marty, about how like it's not just about your problems, everyone has problems, and you can't just sweep everyone else's under the rug, and, you know.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that that's pretty standard, but it's at least like, okay, they looked into it and didn't just gloss over it. So it's something.
Or it didn't just throw it in there because plot.
Yeah, it made sense that like this would be a thing that they'd talk about at the point. So, yeah, I don't know. I've made no secret. I'm pretty sure I've said this before in a discussion, but if not, I'll just say it right out. Madagascar 3 is legitimately one of my favorite movies of all time. So, I am so excited for these two dingles to finally watch it. Eventually. We're still some years away. We are watching it. I guess spoilers, but oh well, whatever. And
He couldn't contain his
I can't. No, I legitimately am like seriously contemplating, like after we're done with this, just watching Madagascar 3 myself. Like it's just, oh my god. Because there is like legitimately good like character development for pretty much everybody that happens. There's some new characters that are introduced that have their own kind of you know, interactions. Again, the dialogue is still really good. It's just there's more weird shit that happens, like even weirder than anything here. And then they introduce like the best character of like if any of these movies, and one of my favorite characters of all time. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that and just the pure insanity of that movie. So, oh my god, I'm so excited, even though it's like so far away. I'm pretty sure it's like mid 2012, so we're still like.
Oh yeah, it'll be a bit.
Ugh, we're like less than 50 away at least. I know that. I think it's like 211. I don't remember. Whatever. We'll find out when we get there. Oh my god, we're actually kind of close to number 200.
Yeah, you have to go into the dying hole now.
Oh yeah, I'm dying. I have a spot on my back. It's time to crawl into the dying hole.
Ugh. We're almost at
I
number
think you have
200.
multiple spots.
Oh, but I do.
Uh.
I have a lot of moles on my body.
Oh.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't know where you're going with this.
I'm a giraffe.
Oh my god.
I'm a giraffe.
You heard it here first.
I have to go die in my hole now. I mean,
I wanna,
after
like,
this week, I do feel like
I
dying
wanna
in a
like
hole.
just like take that sound clip. Just, I'm a giraffe.
I'm a giraffe. You can use it for future reference.
Yes. Maya's come out as otherkin. She's actually a giraffe in a human's body.
Oh my god.
You have to go graze the treetops.
How is that gonna work?
I'm not even that tall though.
No,
You're taller than you're the giraffe.
I'm not that tall.
Oh yeah, actually, you have to be the giraffe, Alan.
I'm like
Now you
normal
go into the
height
dying
though.
hole.
It's not my fault that you're just, you know,
Asian?
short Asian females. I'm a little bit taller than average male, but not by much. So.
By like what, 1-2 inches?
Yeah, basically. So. I think like there was like a percentile thing for my height, and I was like 70. I don't know. So taller, but not by much.
Embrace your giraffeness.
My great giraffeness. I have several students who are taller than me. So.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. I mean, most of them are shorter or like a little bit shorter, but there's one guy actually who, in physics we did a thing early on where I had them like measure their like height and mass in the metric system, and there was somebody who was over 2 meters tall, which is like over 6.5 feet. So, yeah. Yep.
Oh my on that.
So he's the giraffe. Anyway, so yeah, is there anything else that you want to add about this? I guess like overall thoughts?
Overall?
I will say one thing.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember for Madagascar 1, I found the little tiny monkey lemur thing very annoying. So I was very happy that you didn't see too much of him and he was the character you saw the least of. And when
Oh.
you did see him, he was being chased by the
The
shark.
shark. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Why do they have him?
I honestly, I don't. Well, I haven't seen the first one in a while either, but I remember I didn't dislike him, but now I'm trying to remember in the third one. I think his presence is like to a similar degree in the third one.
Okay.
I think.
He's Jar Jar Binks.
I remember there was definitely more stuff with Juliet and Maurice, but again, they weren't the focus. Of course, the focus is still on the main four, and then secondary to that are the penguins, and secondary
Pengoos.
to that, and secondary to that are the lemurs. So that stays the same. Actually, well, oh wait, oh, you don't know. Oh, you have no idea. Oh, Madagascar 3. This fucking movie. I can't say anymore. It's so good. We have to see it. It needs to like jump like 3.5 years in the future so we can see it now. I'm tempted to say fuck it, we're watching it tomorrow, but like
What?
We can't do it.
I know.
We have to watch an incredibly long movie tomorrow.
It's okay, it's not incredibly long, but it's pretty
It's like 2.5 hours, isn't it?
On
Yeah.
that hint bombshell thing, the jig. Goodbye.
Oh my god.
Bye.
Whew.